So I'm getting aircraft overheating, power errors may recur error. Now I've just finished a flight. It was like 21-minute flight. I ran it down to 20% the first battery, and then I took the battery out. This is the second battery it's in now, 41.6. It's warmed up to already. So we got 30 degrees temperature. It's really windy, so it's in the breeze. It's been just on the floor. I've not started the motors yet. So I'm guessing when I start the motors that error should go, I would have thought. I think it's just because it's been sat in the sun a little bit, just for a couple of minutes. But even so, with this wind, it shouldn't overheat. Anyway, I'll just take it off and see what happens. Just check everything. I always check the advanced safety options, because sometimes the app updates when you don't realise, when you've not been notified of it. Updates automatically sometimes, depending on what phone you've got and what operating system. And just always check that advanced safety feature. Safety setting is set to, you want signal loss setting to be returned home most of the time. There are times where you want it to descend and hover, but you don't want it to hover or descend unexpectedly, you know what I mean? If you're not expecting it, if it's far out and you lose connection. Just always double check that. Just come out of that. And always check your maximum altitude. I always set that to 120, that's the legal height here in the UK. Maximum distance, you can vary that, but I just put that on 2,000 meters. Auto return to home altitude. Now bear in mind, I'm a little bit higher than my surrounding area here, so I've got about 20 feet above everywhere else. So that's going to be, so if I'm at 20 meters altitude and I press return to home, it's going to climb 10 meters to 30 meters. But if I'm at 40 meters, it's just going to fly at 40 meters back. So what I do, I look around my surroundings, I check out the highest trees and things like that, and I think 30 meters clears these trees easily. So that's the highest obstacles around here. Just blowing the vents maybe. There's no fan on this, it's just cooling is by the heatsink underneath it, so we'll see what happens.
Take off. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Hopefully that warning will go. And the warning's gone, you see, so yeah, it was just it's just sat on the white box that it came in. I suppose that's reflecting heat up underneath the aircraft. There's some vents, and that's where the actual flight controller board is, and the heat sink as well. And I suppose what's happened is it's just got the heat's built up inside. It's not a time to cool from the first flight, which it should have done really. And then when I put the other battery in and turned it on, that heat started to build up again, you know. So just keep an eye on that when you're flying and stuff. So obviously that warning's gone now. Check the battery temperature. That's quite high though, because normally I would say it's 40 degrees normally on a normal day. Obviously it's a little bit warmer today, the ambient temperature's warmer, so obviously it's going to be warmer than that. But I think the limit on these batteries is 50 degrees centigrade, so as long as you're in that temperature range, just check the lowest temperature. I'm sure it's around freezing point or just under maybe. So as long as you're between the minimum temperature and the maximum temperature, which is 50. I noticed on the last flight it climbed up to about 46, 47, something like that. So it's on 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. 45.2. So it's worth just bearing that in mind, guys. Just watch out for that area. It doesn't buzz the controller either, so it's just an on-screen warning. And it said that it would return to home, or it just said land promptly or something like that. So you don't want that happening if you're over water or anything like that. You know, you don't want it coming down landing. So I'm quite happy the warning's gone off. I'm quite happy it's cooled down a little bit. So I think flying it around is just only going to put air through it, cooler air, get some air moving through it. Keep an eye on the temperature. So I'm definitely not going to take it so far today. Although it's really tempting, I must admit. It's just too gusty. It's like this morning when I came out, charging the batteries up. Just before I came out, there was no wind at all. Probably better coming out early morning and like dusk time when the wind's calmed down a little bit. I said this afternoon the wind speed's going to increase to over 13-14 miles an hour, and that's where I sort of that's the see, I get a strong wind warning now, and I'm not even really very high, only about 10 metres off the ground. So that's where I call it a day. About anything over 12 miles an hour is just I still like to see it getting bashed around by the wind. Struggle, you know, it will fly in strong winds, don't get me wrong. I don't want to push it too far. It's giving me warnings now. You got to remember those props are ever so flimsy and fragile, and obviously when it's gusting and stuff, they're bending like crazy. They are trying to cut through the wind. So all you're doing is stressing the props really, and you're stressing the motors. You're putting pressure on your battery as well. It's just a little lightweight drone that's not designed for heavy winds, you know. I've seen loads of flyaway videos with the Mavic Mini, and people are flying it in 20 mile an hour plus winds, and then wondering why it's floating away, you know. I think DJI state about 18 miles an hour as the maximum wind speed, but you'd be crazy flying it in that, to be honest. So if they say it'll handle that, then you know they're really saying that's the maximum that you should be flying it at. I mean, who wants to fly a drone in really, really windy, gusty weather? I don't find it particularly pleasant. It's not enjoyable. Oh, it's 30 miles an hour wind and it's not handling it. You know, you get people saying that. It's just crazy. It's not made for that kind of wind speed. No drones really. You shouldn't be flying any drone in high winds. It's like manned aircraft. They always check the wind speed and things like that. And the first thing you do is if it's too windy, especially little planes, you just don't fly. Or we've got a train. See if we can do a chase. Yeah, one of these days when get a really good long goods train or something like that with loads of containers on the back, I'll do a little fly alongside it down in that rough direction I was flying in, then obviously not get too close, you know, keep a safe distance, but that'll look pretty effective then, I think. Obviously I'll pick a day when there's no wind, because I ain't doing that today, no chance. So what are we on? 48.5, that's getting near the 50 degrees. What percent battery am I on now? 65, so I'll just give it a little fly around so we can cool that down a little bit. See how I mean, the battery's under strain as well, because obviously if the motors are working harder, it's putting a heavier load on your battery as well, and with the ambient heat that we've got today, putting that heavy load on your battery, increasing the temperature of it, is not good, and that's what's happening here. The Mavic Mini is fighting the wind. Motors are all over the place. They're only very, very small motors in this. If you ever notice, they're very, very low profile. They're like a sort of whoop type size motor, aren't they really? So when you think it's a lot bigger than a whoop, the Mavic Mini. I've seen bigger motors on a whoop, to be fair. Oh, birds. Thought they were chasing me. Right, let's just check the battery temperature again. So 49, I'm going to come down, leave it at that. It's just getting a bit close to the 50 degrees there for my liking.